Today we are going to look the most popular DLP systems on the market. We are going to discuss their strengths and weaknesses, to compare the approaches for different DLP system, plus to compare the interface. But before we will start, let us discuss a little bit the main principles which each DLP system should possess. The first one is data transmission channels and their variety. The more channel the DLP system provides to the customer, the more possibilities of data control and data protection this very DLP system can provide. The second is the analysis of information, that is, the selection of exactly those data that needs to be blocked. The better the analysis is realized, the less work the security specialist has to do from his side. And the last important thing in DLP is investigation. It is necessary that you have not only a database of incidents, but also a database of initial events. The more security and investigation tool the DLP system has, the more possibilities for the end user there will be for data protection in the company. So now let us compare the DLP approach on example of several the most popular DLP systems, such as GTB, Forcepoint, and Symantec. We are going to see how the security approach will be realized on this very DLP systems, and to compare it with the one Risk Monitor from SearchInform offers to the customer from our side. So let us start from the amount of channels each of systems can work with, and we are going to start from GTB. So now you can see the list of channels GTB provides, and let us go a little bit deeper to the settings of channels, starting from device controller. So as we can see, device controller has 3 levels of security. The module can log, block, or justify, but the control here will be realized on the example of policies, which you need to set in advance before working with the results of data collection. Plus, let us go deeper to the amount of channels we have here. In fact, out of 4 devices, there are just 2 which really can be used on a real practice, such as USB storage devices and probably DVD, CD-ROM. So in fact, the amount of channel here is quite limited. Let us check another channels. Let's say print controller. Here, as well as for device, we also have 3 actions, such as log, block, and justify. The actions will be content-based, as well as for device, so we need to preset some policies in advance. But in comparison with device controller, where we didn't even have a chance to have a shadow copy, in print, we already have this possibility, so we can either disable or enable shadow copy if needed to receive more of analytics. However, though the shadow copy is available here, we still lack some information, such as an amount of pages that has been printed or amount of copies of the same file which has been done. So it means that while analyzing the file, we still will lack some information to be presented to us in analytical consoles. And let us also check one more channel, which is screen controls. So here we also have the possibility to lock and block, but again, the possibility for locking and blocking is content-based. Plus, in comparison with another channel, the only option for log and block is classification label that user should put in advance before having a possibility of any kind of control. Plus, according to the name of the rule, it is not really clear whether applications for screen control, such as light shot or snipping tool, will be monitored by the module, even in case if this classification label will be put in advance. Now let us check another solution, which is force point. So for force point here, let us open the list of modules which will be controlled. So now on the screen you can see the list of channels which are controlled by force point solution. As you can see here, we also have 3 labels of security: permit, block, and confirm. The amount of channels is pretty similar to the one provided by GTB solution. We also have the possibility for print control, for removable media control, but here we do not even have the possibility for screen control in comparison with GTB. So the amount of channel is less here. Plus, in both solutions, we do not have IM as the channel of control. So if the task will be to control chats or any other kind of conversations in social media or messengers, you will not be able to do so. Of course, there is a possibility for applications control, but in fact, via application control, you will be able to see just the file transferring without any extra information like call in case if it has been done, or chat like conversation, its content, and so on. And finally, let us check Symantec as the third option of DLP solution. Here, we also have and see pretty much the same list of channels which are controlled. So we again have removable storages, CD, DVD as the device variant. We also have the possibility for print control, but let's say if we are checking web possibilities, HTTP as the data transferring channel, we can see that the possibility of control of HTTPS traffic here will be based on a limited list of browsers which are supported by the system. So if the user will install another browser and will try to send any data, it will not be anyhow controlled by semantic solution. So it will be easy to overcome the rule. The same is for email control. We have here just Outlook and Lotus as the mail client for control. So if the user will use web interface or another mail client, the data will not be monitored by the solution. And finally, coming back to HTTP as the channel of control, for semantic solution, the level of HTTP control will be focused on the simplest post queries without any more extended data to be intercepted. Let's say again, coming back to messengers or cloud control, in case if a user will make a chat via web messenger, or if a user will use Dropbox of its web version to transfer a file, this level of protection will not be anyhow monitored by Symantec. Of course, you may say that that there is a possibility of, let's say, Dropbox control via application level. But again, if we are talking about cloud storage here and Dropbox as an option, we could control just its application. If the user is going to use web interface, let's say, it will be out of the list of controlled channels. Now let us compare how the same features will be realized in terms of risk monitor presented by SearchInform. So let us start from the channels we support, and let us start from device controller as the channel. So here, as you can see, even the list of devices which are supported on the level of risk monitor solution is way bigger. So we support here not just USB devices or CD, DVD-ROM. We support different ports. We support portable devices or phones. We support RDP control. So there are way more of channels which will be supported on the level of our system. The same is for monitor control. So let us come back to GTB solution, which has been based just on the security tag that should be put in advance in order to realize the control. In our solution, monitor control is realized a little bit deeper. We have a possibility of image and video control. We have a possibility of control by schedule, control by launching of different processes and websites, and even the possibility of control by keywords. So in case if some confidential data will be input in the file, it could become a trigger for our monitor controller to take a snapshot and to prove the case of an incident. And finally, as we focused on IAM controller as one of the weakest point in another vendor solution, let us also check the amount of messengers risk monitor can control. So as you can see here, we can control both chat level and files level. On some messengers and social networks, there are even more possibilities of control. But anyways, even if we're talking about these very modules, you already will receive quite a lot of information regarding the conversations. Risk Monitor can not only monitor the data, it also have this blocking level as another solutions and another vendors provide their customers with. In our approach, we have two levels of blockings that can potentially be set. The first level is the global level, when you need to block an access to any channel of data control, you will be able to do so, just specifying the object name. So that's how you may block an access to any website, any application that is allowed to be used in terms of the company. You may disallow an access to a network folder, to any device like USB ports, Bluetooth devices, and so on. So the level of blocking channels is also quite a varied one. But if you need a channel not to be blocked, but protected anyways, we provide the customers with the same level of control as another solutions do. So we allow you to decide upon the channel that should be monitored and the search criterion that needs to be blocked. That's how we provide our customer with content-based block. So you may specify what kind of data should be considered as the critical one by content, by regular expression, by labels. That's how disallowing just this very list of data transferring objects to be blocked. That's how contextually we can block messengers and any website you specify from your side. We may block printing, network folders transferring, and USB devices transferring as well. All these channels will be available for you for contextual blocking. Now let us come back to another vendor's solutions to check the approach to incident management within different consoles. Let us again start from GTB. We will go to Policy Management Tools to see that the policy in GTB can be based on regular expressions, the list of which is pretty a big one. it can be based on dictionaries, or it can be based on categories if necessary. We will also see the information how the incident itself will look like. So let us open violations by channels in HTTP protocol to see the incident itself. And what we can see here, we can see that there is an incident for drop me files websites with the following data trigger on policy of SSM. So we can see that GTB solution tracked two SSN numbers sent in drop me files websites. So also additionally to this information, we will see extra attributes regarding our incident, plus the textual information as we already saw it. But what if we will decide to draft our policy? Let's say to rewrite the regular expression or to add some extra conditions for the policy. So let us go to policy management again. But what we can see here, in fact, is that SSN is built-in expression which is not allowed to review or draft it. We can read its description, we can understand what will become a trigger for the policy, so there are some examples here. But if we will need to rewrite this regular expression somehow, or if we will need to add an extra validation to our SSN regular expression, we won't be able to do this because GTB solution simply do not allow us to draft the policy which has been created here. Now let us check fourth point security policy interface. As you can see here, the policy can be based on patterns and phrases, on labels, specifically not the 4.1 but Bold and James. There is a possibility to set a policy based on file properties, fingerprinting, extra parameters. The policies here are already preset, so we could see quite a big list of ones. But if we will go deeper to the policy itself, we again see pretty much the same approach. We are not able to set the policy anyhow to draft it. We just see that this is an inbuilt security policy. We have its description, but it's not really clear on how the policy was created and what is the condition the policy is based on. And finally, let us check semantic approach here. So here we have a possibility to see again a list of policies you may work with. This time you even can go deeper. So if you will open the policy, there will be the possibility for description reading plus the policy drafting, which is already more flexible approach in comparison with another vendors. So you have pretty much the same parameters for your policy creation, but already with the possibility of its drafting in case if needed. And now let us also check how the incident control will be realized for each solution. So let us see how we are going to study the incidents in case if they will be tracked by the system. Let us start from fourth point. Let's say for printing, yeah? So we can see the information about the printing, the source, we have the properties of the printed files, we have the possibility to preview the file that has been printed. So we have some of details with even a highlighting word feature here. But let us check another channels as well. Let's say an example of the same messengers, which, as we already know, became a weakest point for all solutions. Let's say, let us do this on example of Telegram. We see the channel, we see the source, we see that the information has been sent to Telegram, but in fact, we do not have any textual information over here. We see the file name, we see the information that file was successfully accessed by the application. We see the file property, the computer properties, but that's it, without any details. So again, the information we can study here will be pretty a limited one. So now let us come back to GTB and we'll check how the incidents for GTB will look like. Let's say, let us check the printing control. So again, all attributes are here. We can study them all. But in case if we will need to go deeper to a shadow copy of our printed file, in fact, we could do this only in case if from the user account we are working on GTB solution, there is a direct access to the machine from which the incident has been tracked. If not, then the only information we will see here will be the file name, which, let's say in our case, is not really an informative one. And finally, let us check the approach from semantic side. Let us check here, let's say the mail example. This exact email has been blocked. We can see it in terms of the incident and action blocked. We can see the main attribute like the sender, the recipient, and so on. We can see the file name, but if we will need to know more in details what exact file has been blocked, what information became a trigger for blocking, there is nothing. So we could see just the file name, maybe file type, and that's it. Now we see the example of data that has been monitored. We already have a shadow copy here. Even the highlighting word feature works. So we can see that this policy worked for bank card number, which can be a potential incident. So the incident has been highlighted correctly. But as you can see, we do not have a real shadow copy of the incident. We have just the very part which became a trigger for semantic DLP solution without any extra data. So we cannot analyze a deeper content. We do not have a possibility to restore the file, let's say, in case if it has been deleted and so on. So the information which is provided by semantic solution, though it is already more detailed one, still a little bit limited in terms of potential necessity of the customer. Now let us compare how the incident walk will be realized in Risk Monitor. So these are some examples of how the incident will look like in terms of our solution. So you already have the information about the channel. You have a shadow copy. So in comparison with the same semantic, where we had just a search summary, so the part of the incident, in our case, you have both. You have a search summary, but at the same time, you have the complete shadow copy to be studied, the complete document with the highlighting word feature, so you may analyze the content of each and every keyword. You have the same attributes as another vendors provide you with, so you may deeply study the incident. Plus, let's say for mail control, for messengers control, here you will already have more information to be analyzed. You will have an information about the text of, let's say, email that has been sent. You may see the information about the attachment if it is about emails. You will have the information about chats in case if a chat has been done through the necessary channel of control. And you also will have an information about the file in case if it has become the interesting point, right? Even if the source is the messenger. While another vendors provide you with just file control and messengers, SMTP protocol as the one for control for email. In our solution, we will control everything. Outgoing, incoming traffic, attachments and chat. For mails, we control both web clients and desktop ones, so you again have more possibilities for data collection. And finally, in our approach, in case if you are interested in the information that has been sent or received, you always have a possibility to investigate. So the system will not only provide you with the prepare list of security policies, the same as another vendors provide to their customer. The system will not only provide you with more detailed information about the incident, here the solution will also give you more instruments. Let's say if you already was interested in this file sending, you have the possibility to read the complete correspondence history between a sender and recipient for the necessary period of time, already having more details regarding the same conversation. Also, if you will be interested in file history, you also will be able to build a content route to see the full history of data transferring, of the file transferring in our case, for not set period of time per all possible channels, finding out from where the file has been taken to where the file additionally has been transferred. So here we can see that this file has been transferred twice via different mail accounts. We can also see that the file has been transferred through devices, which is already one more channel we need to analyze here. And finally, the solution provides you with the deep investigation tools with the possibility to collect more evidences of the incident using our own investigation instruments. Let's say if I want to prove that this very fact of data transferring really happened, or if I want to know what happened with the document before or after, I have a possibility to check it with another modules, let's say with the same monitor controller, to finding out historically that if we will check the shadow copy of the file before data sending, the digits on the file has been changed. So potentially it may lead to the business supply and proposal not occasional changing, which is not really related to work. But anyways, we already collected the evidences, we already have an incident to work with, and we have all necessary instruments to go in details with the same incident. Now, one more important thing which is usually interested when we are talking about security solution is the reporting features. So of course, each vendor provides to its customer the necessary list of reports to work with. Let's say these are the reports from GTB. They are really colorful one for different topics. They are quite interesting to work with. But if we will go deeper to details, if we will decide to use the results of reports in our aims, maybe to investigate or to find something more, we will see that in fact these reports will be quite useless because they take us back to the same incident we already studied without any extra information, without any extra conclusions about the instrument. So the reports here will not be really informative, just the graphical ones. Pretty much the same is for fourth point. So we also have reports based on severity label, different actions, channels, which became a trigger to the incident, channels of control, policies names, and so on. These reports are also clickable, so you may go deeper and to study what exact information is in report. But again, without any extra conclusions, you see just the same information you already studied while working with security policy without any details. And finally, Symantec. So let us also check its report. So we also have dashboards. They again do not give us too many information about the incident, just a small one. We have a statistics. We may go deeper to the statistics, but without any additional conclusions again, just the information about computer name and amount of incidents, severity label, so all the same. And let us now check the approach provided by Risk Monitor from SearchInform here. Here, we already provide our customer not with the limited amount of report based on pretty much the same. We provide the customers with different topics of reports which a customer may use. Let's say we have reports based on relationships and chats of our users in different messengers, social networks, mail, so channels of conversations. As you can see here, we have a possibility for studying not only internal users list, but also external ones. You may use the graphic, you may use the list of employees to work with and to study the conversations with. As you can see, the information we provide to the customers can be realized and seen not only in desktop versions of our consoles, which I previously showed. We also have this very web interface with all the same feature, with all the same reporting, so you may decide upon what option for working with data will be more suitable for you. You see the channel of conversation. You see whether the conversation is connected with anyone else from the company. So all information is here for you. Also, we have an information about activity of our users as one of channels of control is about this. So we control users' activity. And here, as you can see, the reports on activity will provide you with an information about working graphics, violation of working graphics, productivity time, activity time based on different processes, websites, and categories. So you may study that a lot of time has been spent in games, and you may study the same information but based on top websites and processes that has been launched. Additionally, you have a possibility to research the information on hardware and software history. So you may see the connected device. You may see all devices that has been read from the computer side. All this information is for you to be analyzed. And the same information is provided about software. So if the malware software or just unworking software will be detected on the computer, the one which shouldn't be here as an exe file, you will have a possibility to know about this in advance because the system also reads the list of software installed. And finally, if you need pretty much the same reports which are provided by another vendors, which will be based on an amount of incidents or another statistics, you will be able to see this information on our side as well, because the system also builds reports based on this information, on the violator's name, date, security policy lists, and so on. So pretty much the same information will be provided by our side, with the possibility to go as deeper as you need to study the same information in details if there will be the task for it as well. And finally, for risk monitor for DLP, let us come back to the channels of control. Here, I would like to discuss with you one of the channels, which also will be quite an important one to be control, a cloud control. So let us see how cloud control will be realized in terms of different vendors, starting from GTB. Here, cloud control is realized, but in fact, in order to analyze the data which is stored, the system will request from you to log into the account which you need to analyze. So in order to control all working account, you first need to receive all credentials from all employees. Only after this, you will have a possibility to read the list of files which are stored on the cloud here. For fourth point, we have even list of possibilities. In fact, here we can just receive the list of users read from Microsoft Azure Active Directory, and that's it. And pretty much the same possibilities are for Symantec, so they are pretty limited one in terms of file control, cloud control. That is why we again will face the problem in case if our task will be about the analysis of data which is stored in cloud. In our approach, if we're talking about cloud control, we divide the information about clouds and the channel of clouds on two groups. The first one is about those clouds which will be used as the data transferring channel. In order to control this, if you have a task to know what files are uploaded or downloaded from clouds, in our system, we have a channel which is called Cloud Controller, which aims specifically is to know what files has been sent via what cloud solutions. We are making shadow copies. We are showing your users a direction of data transferring. So all the same information we already saw will be controlled also on the level of cloud control and risk monitor. But on our approach, we also distinguish cloud solutions, which are the components of like Office solutions which are provided to the company, such as Amazon, Office 365, and so on. And here, in order to control not just file upload, but the whole instrument for working with file keeping, we are able, using another our solution, which is called File Auditor, using API to connect to the cloud service and to read the file storage. We do not require from our customers the user account of each employee. We're just using API. That's how having the possibility for both cloud control, data analysis and file analysis, and mail control, file analysis as well. So if you will need to know the information about the servers and what kind of data is stored here, you will be able to do so using our solution of File Auditor. Here on my example, unfortunately, I do not have the cloud service, but I have the integration with Exchange on the level of Office 365. And as you can see here, we have the server I'm integrating with. We are having the information about user account, folders, and for cloud, there will be a file. For Exchange, there will be the mail, which contains the critical information with the necessary details in case if you need them. In my case, just the setting is the following, that I didn't need the shadow copy of this very email. That is why I don't have it. If I do need a shadow copy, of course, I will receive a shadow copy. That's how the approach to files stored in different cloud solutions will be realized in terms of the system. So we will see the critical information and the shadow copy, which is done through API. And as we already started to discuss the file control, then on the very end, let us also cover this point in different DLP solutions starting from GTB. So if the customer will need to receive a file control, here there will be a possibility to do so, but GTB uses its own manual classification file labels in order to control something. So in order to have a control via GTB, a customer will need manually to enable a classification label. Only after this, a security department will receive the information about the classified file here. In fourth point, this data classification for data at rest is also realized, but in fourth point, the realization of file storage is based on external solutions such as Bolden James and Microsoft Azure Information Protection. So again, if the user will need to see some information about the stored file, the file first will have to be classified, plus the company will have to use the external solution instead of the inbuilt one. And for Symantec, there is not really an existence of any kind of data classification and file storage in. So here the only possibility for control is the possibility for data transferring control, not the file keeping. So let us now compare how the same file controlling approach will be realized in terms of our solution. We, from our side, are using two levels of control here. The first one is the automatical one, the second is the manual one. Manual one is pretty much the same as for GTB and force point. So here, in order to detect a file storage, we are activating such manual labels, which will appear in Microsoft Office interface of our employees, and exactly the employee will be in charge of data classification. So pretty much the same as for GTB here. From your side, you are able to decide upon the operation with the file. Do we need to make an audit? So to show you just the fact of file classification like here, or do we need to make a shadow copy and to study the file text, which is stored somewhere on a critical place? It's up to you how exactly the action will be done, plus the same action can be based on a specific label. It's not obligatory to be the same for all. So it's again up to you. It is again configurable. Automatic data classification is a little bit different side of classification approach. Here, you as the user of the system are creating the rule, which is content-based, specifying what kind of data is considered to be critical contextually and what is the scanning type. So do we need to scan a certain folder, or do we need to work with a certain file type? Maybe you just want to use a file hash and to detect a certain file storage in. It's again up to you as well as the action the system will do. As the same as for Alert Center, together with the system, we provide you with the list of security rules you may work with. The list of rules here is pretty big one. So you are analyzing what we can provide you with, may use our rules to classify files or create your own one via our wizard. In terms of file storaging, we are just classifying files for you. So after researching of data, you will see the information about the places where the most critical information is stored. Let's say, show me all computers and server with the following information inside, such as commercial offer and invoices. So you will see the storage in places. You will be able to analyze them all like folder to folder. You will be able to study a shadow copy in case if while creating the rule you created a shadow copy, plus the same as for the risk monitor solution, you have the possibility to highlight keywords, read attributes, and even to control operations which are done with the necessary file. So you are just specifying the period of time for attributes control. The system reads them from database and show it to you. So as you can see, we have the list of operation here, seeing that in WinWord, someone, John Doe in our case, on the very period of time, tried to do something with the file, but according to the filter, the access to the operation has been denied because of the blocking rule we set in advance. If we would need to do anything extra with the file, would see anything extra about the file, like file opening, file transferring, file renaming, we also will be able to do so via the solution. Finally, to sum up, I would like to say that statistics shows that many companies worldwide do not have DLP solution. So the question here is why? After all, the benefits of DLP system seems obvious anyways. Our answer is because popular solutions on the market do not solve the main task, that is, they do not protect against leak efficiently. We have just seen this for ourselves. Clients look at solutions, test them, try to work out leaks, and see that not all leaks are prevented. They see that in practice, popular solutions such as Forcepoint, Symantec, and GTB do not even fulfill their own marketing promises. Naturally, clients do not want to spend their money on such solutions. That is why we are here to offer the solutions of SearchInform, which, as you already could see on practice, could cover the main objects of interest of the majority of company, could fulfill the tasks for both monitoring and blocking, could fulfill the tasks for leakage control and for file storage control in all aspects. So this is one of the options we are offering on the market. Thank you for your attention.